if you have a kid who is not hitting for as much power as you think they should be capable of hitting for, where there are kids on their team that are smaller or less athletic than your kid, but they're just not driving the ball, then in this video, what I want to do is show you a very critical move that my kids use that I've been training them to do since they were, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, that allowed them to be able to, they both hit home runs this week. So I wanted to break them down for you. This is my son with a grand slam that he hit this last week. And then this is my daughter who also hit a home run. This is actually her first ever high school varsity home run as a freshman. And they both are using and doing a certain move that I want to show you what it is. And then I want to show you why it's like actually really hard for a lot of kids to learn if you don't screen for a particular type of pelvic control test. And I want to show you what that looks like today. So I want to kind of peel back the curtain here and kind of show you what happens. So when we look at this home run, what I want you to see is I want you to see how the pelvis starts to, see right there, how it twists open. So if you take the angle, you ran a rod through the right hip, out the left hip. This right now is like, I don't know, pointing, I don't know, maybe 30 feet to the right of center field wall. And then as the heel gets into the ground, the pelvis starts to open while the shoulders stay closed. So if we see, the pelvis opens right there as the heel's getting in. So shoulders are still closed, but now the belt buckle is starting to turn, and the hips, if you were to judge the angle, are like now pointing towards like left center field. So we've created a stretch. And the reason this is critically important is because our body has these things called fascial lines. Fascia is a tissue that if you quickly stretch it before you flex it, allows your body to be more explosive. So when we see a hitter opening their left hip while their upper body stays closed, we're stretching that line. So when you go and you look at my daughter's first home run here, and you see this stretch, that's what's happening. This is tightening the fascia right before she releases it. And that's what allows her, even though when she's like 12 years old, she started to be able to hit home runs, even though she was only 5 feet tall and the smallest girl on the team. That's what allows you to hit for more power than like your weight class says that you can. And when you look at my son's swing, same type of a thing. You're going to see the belt buckle start to open. You see it shift while his front shoulder is still staying down and his belt buckle is open. It goes from being closed, where like, I mean, this is a great angle from behind. Like it's closed here, where if you draw a line out, it's going towards like the left of the building out there. And then as his heel gets into the ground, now his belt buckle, if you draw the rod, is like to the right side of the building. And that's a little bit further. That's probably a better angle where you can see it on the left, but the hip is opening right there, and it's creating a stretch. Now, different bodies have different amounts of stretch. More is not always better, but you need to see this move. Now, I don't want to talk in this video about like, okay, do this move, or just telling your kid to fire their hips. Like, if they have the ability, great, and like that's awesome. But there's something deeper that goes on with most kids that doesn't allow them to do this move, that I want to kind of like show you what we do with the clients that we. So before we ever design a hitting program to work with hitters, we want to make sure that all the parts of their body can work correctly. So this is an example of one of the 14 things we screen for. This is a pelvic tilt test. Do they have the ability to control their pelvis? Because when we know the pelvis and the ability to control it is super important in hitting home runs, we need to make sure that they have control of it. So when we're looking at this, I'm asking my daughter to imagine she has a belt buckle and point it towards her face. And she's trying to move her belt buckle, but she can't get it. You see how like it's still tilted down? She doesn't know how to tuck it up. And so you tuck it up, and I'll show in a second here what it looks like. And then you want to see, can you point it down? And she could do the pointing down part well, but she can't control it when it tips up. It looks a little silly for me to do this as well, but I wanted to show you an example of what it should look like, where I can tilt the pelvis up. You can see the angle. I've got my belt buckle, my pants flat to the ground, and then I can arch back and I can go different ways. Now, I actually have an issue in mind where it judders. If you try to do this and you feel juddering, that's a lack of some pelvic control. So even though I'm, a full-grown adult, I don't have full control of my pelvis, and so this causes swing issues. And it really shows up in kids that hit too many ground balls often have this problem. And we also see like a total lack of power when kids don't know how to use their pelvis. And then check this out. This is another kid. Be aware of this if you do this for hitters. Like sometimes they get pretty self-conscious. I don't want to like call out a kid as an adult and make them a bad example of how a movement thing is working if that's going to cause any embarrassment. So that's why I blocked out his face here. But this is a kid who we just recently did this for. And it's pretty cool. So check this out. So he's trying to do this right here. He can't do it. So he actually gives up. He's embarrassed about that right there. But he's right here. He is trying to tuck his belt buckle underneath, and he can't do it. Like no movement. Like he's actually trying. And so this kid ended up becoming a client. We ended up putting him onto our movement screen issue. And so then check this out. His dad sends me this video. Keep in mind, he's not been driving the ball like this all year, and he absolutely smokes this double. And it was all because we put him in some stuff that helped him control his pelvis and really helped. So that's the kind of stuff that we do. We assess kids' movement screens over 14 different movements. We evaluate their swing mechanics to put them in movement drills and swing solution drills that help build swings. And then we coach parents through that process. So if that's something you would be interested in learning more about how we could help you do that, shoot me a message letting me know that you're interested, and I can send you more details about how we work with hitters. But just an example, I thought I'd peel back the curtain and kind of show you like what actually goes on when we put together plans for hitters, and what I think you need to be making sure you do too if you want them to hit for the most power possible.